3 hard days of racing in Canfield, Ohio, and the pulling clay at the Canfield Fairgrounds has taken its toll on the equipment. But as the old saying goes, you never lift on race day. And with this being the 4th and final event here in Canfield, the teams will have a full week to put the equipment back together. So these racers are going for broke. This is Trucks and Tractor Power, featuring the best in MTRA monster truck racing. From the Canfield Fairgrounds in Canfield, Ohio, it's the Monster Truck Thunder Drag. The measure of a champion is not how he acts when he's on top, but how he reacts when he's been knocked off the pedestal. If you've been with us each week on Trucks and Tractor Power, you know that Dan Runty's had a phenomenal win streak, 8 straight events. That represents 34 side-by-side rounds of competition. Until event 9, he was knocked out in the semis and again knocked out in the semis in round 10. We've talked a lot about how Dan Runty did not beat himself. He always cut a good tree. He never red-lighted. However, he was drilled at the start in the 9th event. He red-lighted in the 10th event. I have to ask, is he in a slump? Is stress, pressure getting to Dan Runty? Well, if you're going to be in a slump, now's the time to do it with a huge points lead in the Penda Points Championship and only 3 events to go. Now, here's my television colleague, Army Armstrong.
Gary, you're exactly right. Bigfoot, Barefoot, quick qualifying 1 and 2. The Stinger came in 3rd. Predator and Rampage rounds out the top 5, going from 490 to just 510. A real tight top 5 field, Gary.
Well, there's Alan Pizzo, winner of our last race in Canfield, but tough luck for Alan, who breaks in round 1 when he was going up against Mike Vodders. Now watch here on the ISO.
What you'll notice is the front wheels. Watch the angles of both front wheels.
So Pizzo out of action, a tough break for Alan.
Usually, you know, we only do 2 shows in 1 weekend. This doubles it up, and it doubles the abuse that the truck takes, and it has taken its toll this weekend.
Well, Bill Hazlitt and Monster Patrol would take some abuse in round 1, going up against Fred Schaefer. Hazlitt in the dreaded Canfield left lane.
Low pole.
Yeah, and he knocks the pole over, or almost over, so we had a chance to visit with Bill Hazlitt after this altercation.
You have any idea it was going to make a move like that to the left?
No, Army, I had no idea. When I got on it, got on the other side of the ramp, the truck just went to the left and tried to save it, but I couldn't.
Take a look now at the tree now for round 2 competition. Some pretty good pairings in there, Army.
You got Bigfoot, Virginia Giant, Rampage, and the Stinger. Boogie Van Black Stallion, husband and wife, coming up next.
Out in the West Texas town of El Paso, I fell in love with a Mexican girl.
From the boy in the darkened theater, the fatherless kid, to the charismatic man on stage, to the man behind the wheel, defying doctor's orders to the end, Marty Robbins knew how to live. The life and times of Marty Robbins, Thursday, 8 Eastern on TNN.
Back in Canfield with a good shot of the timing camera that is used to time these races.
You know, this is a unique camera because it has to be mounted directly across the finish line, but it cannot be mounted down the ground because so many of these vehicles actually fly through the air. So what they do, they actually break an electronic beam on the starting line and then go to the finish line, and they watch the film come up frame by frame by frame. That's where your time comes from.
New truck on the circuit, Deal Wilson. He'll be making his first round 2 appearance in the Penda Point Series. Army earlier had a look at this vehicle.
Hey, Gary, we thought we'd take you on a tour of the new kid on the block. Dale Wilson's Virginia Giant showed up in the pit area, and we wanted to kind of inform people about this truck. It's very, very successful in the indoor circuit, but this is the first time we've had a chance to see him outdoors. So let's take a walk through. The frame itself, the gray area there, the tubes were designed by Dan Patrick and built by Patrick. He's the same one that drives the Samson truck. The fuel cell, the red box here, is in the very front of the vehicle. That is for balance. I want you to notice the shock absorbers. These shock absorbers were designed by Dale himself along with Dan Patrick, and they're specially made for the sport of monster truck racing. A little research and development going on there. You look in the driver's compartment, you notice he sits in the middle of the truck, giving him a good view of all four corners, and the truck is shifted automatically with an air bottle. This allows the driver to hold on to the steering wheel at all times and not have to let go. The engine combination, kind of unique. It's a 429 cubic inch Ford engine designed for NASCAR racing in 1969. There's a very limited number of those. And the fact is the supercharged engine makes it really unique. We're going to finish the tour off by looking at the shock absorbers back on the back of the truck. Notice they're at about a 45-degree angle. This is another research and development concept. It's called a cantilever suspension. It allows the shock absorbers to move a greater distance with less pull on the actual arm of the shock itself.
Well, of course, the Virginia Giant will go up against Bigfoot. That's a tough draw for the first time outdoors.
You're exactly right. Like I say, Dale definitely is a strong runner indoors. There's a whole new ball game coming outdoors, and he told us that. He said, this is a learning curve for me.
Yeah, and you don't want to go up against this guy, Dan Runte, after he's been knocked out the last 2 rounds of competition. Runte, of course, won 8 straight before he got knocked out in the semis in the 9th event and red-lighted in the 10th event. So he's hungry to find victory lane. And now we're looking at the pairing with the Rampage and Stinger. Stinger, of course, is a teammate in the Bigfoot organization. His team driver, Dan Runte, just won his round. He's standing by now with Army.
Dan, you look at the track, it actually looks dusty, but really the characteristics of the truck, it is running in mud.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a hard surface here, and when they put water on it, it really gets greasy. So that's making it a tough track to judge. You know, after it dries up and we get it dug up, it really turns into a pretty good track. That pass there, we just slipped on top, a little lost a little time. We'll just see if we can. That's good enough for lane choice.
Well, you see the mud being kicked up, and there you can see the mud on those big tires. So it's a very slick racing surface here in Canfield.
Yeah, but just like you said in the opening, you got to remember this is a pulling track, so they're used to getting it packed real hard.
There's Rampage, the near lane, Stinger, the far lane.
Hey, we got a race.
And it's Stinger by whatever, such a slight margin.
Might not be over.
There for a moment, he locked the brakes up, trying to get that thing slow. There's a 507, a good run for Eric Meager, but he had all kinds of trouble in the shutdown lane.
Yeah, the ISO camera is going to show us really the run itself was almost uneventful. He did a real good job. His kid's awfully smooth in the truck. The chassis works, but the problem came right here when he came back to correct it, Gary, and I told you about how slick the track is.
And all he could do was stay on the throttle, and then when he saw where the truck was going, he locks it up right there, just does brush the left rear of the Rampage truck. No harm, no foul, and here is Eric Meager with Army.
Smooth driving, young man.
Oh, thank you. I had my hands full there. It was definitely a wild ride. It appears that they're trying to keep the dust down here today, and they've been watering the track down. The track's been so hard, and the times are reflecting it. We had our hands full. So far, everything came out all right. I don't know what the call was. We're going to go find out, and hopefully we're back next round with the WCW Motorsports.
And look how muddy the sidewalls are on that tire. They were black, of course, when he launched that truck.
You got to remember now, these big old tires only run about 4.5 pounds of air in it, so the tire actually rolled over on its side. So that's where some of the dirt came from. I'll tell you what, no dirt here. This is going to be a war. The big, bad Dodge. Fred Schaefer needs a win. He's got to turn his luck around. The Pontoon Beach, Illinois native has been hunting it all year long. He goes up against none other than Champaign, Illinois' own Mark Hall. And this kid can beat you to death in a slapping contest. So it's going to be a toss-up.
Factory against Privateer. In fact, we will win that one, no problem, for Fred Schaefer in barefoot.
Yeah, he went a 489. That's a good number considering the track conditions.
Unique situation coming up next with a husband and wife pair actually battling against each other. The Black Stallion 2000, that's the new Ford pickup truck for Mike Botters, and he will stage against his wife, Pam Botters, in the Boogie van. And of course, Mike out here doing some R&D on this pickup, so we asked him what it would be like to go out there and stage against and then race against his better half. Here's Mike.
We want to try and leave at the exact same time, and you know, so we can watch both trucks how they react over the first hill. This is what we would really want, to get them out there side by side. It makes it nice so you can compare on film, and that's what we want to do. If my truck works a little better, what we learn, we can take from my truck over to hers, and you know, make it better.
Well, once again, this was not that long of a tow for them from Hagerstown, Maryland, so we could bring it out this weekend and do some R&D actually in competition, which would be cheaper than leasing a track someplace to test. Pam stages late in the near lane. And Pam in the boogie van knocks out her hubby in the Black Stallion pickup, a 5:37. For Pam Botters, so she will continue on to the semis. The Canfield Monster Thunder Drags, like the four-wheel Jamborees, are part of the Special Events Performance Series, and they offer a weekend of four-wheel fun. To find out when a Jamboree or a Monster Drag will be in your area, contact the Special Events Promotion Company and take part in all the action. Well, Pam Botters continues on in competition. Here she is with Army.
Well, Pam, I guess that kind of shows who wears the driver's suit in your family today.
Oh, yeah. I got a little bit more experience with him, I think, than racing out here.
I think we got rules against drivers kissing drive. Oh, husband and wife, I'm sorry.
I guess he's over here to congratulate me.
What did it feel like out there? That's kind of a historic moment.
That was great. That's what we talked about, but we just kind of just figured, well, it's not going to happen. But, hey, it did. That was great. Hopefully we got some good footage on the suspension. But, hey, what can I say?
Well, you learned something getting the suspension run in. You're still in this thing, so we'll let you all get back and get ready for the next round. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Hey, the semifinals are coming up next as we return to Canfield.
Monday.
Are you ready to be seriously entertained tonight?
Find out the answer with special guest Sawyer Brown.
We would like to be the leader and continue to be the leaders and not the followers.
And super songwriter Mac McAnally.
To me, songwriting is a business of picking which night to stay up late.
Unlike rock and roll music and unlike classical, there's something about country music that really does touch the heart of the common man.
Monday night concerts, 8 Eastern on TNN, the Nashville Network.
Welcome back to Canfield, Ohio. Gary Lee, Army Armstrong. Well, I'll tell you, the Monsters are not the only vehicles competing here this weekend. Something for everybody.
Yeah, a little two-wheel action. The 125 motocross set up, and they actually got a chance to run on the same course that the tough trucks were going to be running on a little bit later in the afternoon. Believe me, these two-wheel guys were really getting after each other, as this shot will show you right here.
It's easier, though, to get air with one of these two-wheelers than it is with a four-wheeler, but some of these four-wheel guys got some ideas.
That. Yeah, they didn't understand that.
Jim Alt, and look at the air he's getting.
Yeah, but in the full-body division, Jeff Stoffel comes out in a Chevrolet Blazer and starts beating and banging around. Of course, the tougher time he was having, the more the crowd was getting involved in this thing, and that's what the crowd likes about the tough trucks.
The crowd likes to see him tear the vehicles up. Now watch this, Army. Listen to the fans. Ooh. Well, he got the tire almost high-sided and rolled over.
Boy, that hurt.
Jeff put on a great show, and here is Dan Williamson.
Not to be outdone by Jeff. Now, he knows what he's going to have to do. And as you well know, Gary, these guys never lift on race day either, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Look at the air, and he almost tips it over. And the fans, you can hear their response. One of the most unique vehicles, though, this is the one they call Jungle Jim. This is Ron Handy, and I'm not sure if that's a home-built unit or what exactly that is. He has a rather unique driving style. The fans kind of egging him on because he's gingerly going over those whoop-de-doos. And look at this one-hand driving position. But he had better get both hands back on the steering wheel. And look at the air he collects.
Hits a tire, loses a tire. That's our boy.
You can see the jubilation from the cockpit. The fans love it. That's his 15 minutes of fame for Ron Handy. And after the run, we asked him about that vehicle and the run.
It's a 78 Blazer. Everything's legal on it with a roll cage, plates, lights, everything. And I was waiting to hit the ground when I come over it. That's all I know.
What a wild ride he had. The fans loved it, though. And there's a look at what he calls the Jungle Jim.
That's a 78 Blazer. And I knew he was going to hit the ground, too. Every time you go up in the air, you always hit the ground.
Ready for the semis now. There's a look at a truck that can get some good air. There's the Stinger, Eric Meager. He goes up against his teammate, Bigfoot, with Dan Runte.
This is going to be interesting because a lot of people, as you see the pairings come up on the score, on the board. A lot of people think one of these trucks is going to roll over for the other trucks because they run out of the same basic operation. And folks, I'm going to tell you, it's not going to happen. These two guys are racers. Bob Chandler's giving both of them the green light. If nothing else, they want bragging rights to go back to St. Louis with. You're going to see a good race here.
Of course, Runty wants back in victory lane as they're both staged now for the launch.
Runty's got it on kill.
Oh, good.
He's in trouble.
But Runty hangs on. No, he doesn't. He's upside down. Dan Runty in the shutdown area got upside down. Of course, the cloud of dust now obscuring our view. Now we start to see the inverted truck as the crew members are running over to Dan Runty. He got in trouble in the shutdown area.
That right lane, Gary, at Canfield caught him. He got over the lip. You hear the emergency crews heading that way.
And there's the damage to the fiberglass, the doghouse, as the crew now talking inside the cockpit. The helmet is off. He is okay, but obviously he is stunned. He obviously is stunned. You can hear the crowd reaction in the background. What a violent rollover for Dan Runty. A terrible weekend here in Canfield. Let's go trackside to Army.
Well, Gary, as you can see, they're immediately taking him over to the medical staff. Herb Richards, his mentor, is on his left side. The medical staff's with him right now. So the fire department's right here to hose everything down. The safety equipment worked. Dan's all right. I'm going to try to get a word with him real quick. Dan, can I speak to you real quick before you get to the medical guys? Just a second. Do you have any idea what caused it to move like that?
I hit the second ramp, trying to pull it back in, you know, run a clean race. The truck was out of shape over the first ramp. Had to stay in it knowing it was Eric, and when it went up in the air, it just kicked it sideways, and we're basically done when it come down. Just tried to drive back under it, come off the edge there, and it hurt.
Okay, let me get you in there with these guys. Thanks a lot, fellas. Good luck to you, Dan.
Thank you. Concentrate on the next one.
Gary, the replay comes up. Did you hear the last thing he said to Eric Meagher? He said, concentrate on the next race. Always thinking about the next one. Watch the right rear tire here. What happens with only 4 pounds of air pressure? It digs in when he lands, see, and it's crossed up. Now he gets on the throttle, trying to pull it back around. Being a four-wheel drive, knowing if any corner's going, if any corner touches, he can pull it back. It was too late. He hit that infamous drop-off at Canfield and went over the wall.
Safety equipment, though, doing the job required. The roll cage, the harness, the helmet, the seat belt. So the driver is okay. We'll come back with more from Canfield. Welcome back to Canfield, Ohio. This was just moments ago as they clean up the aftermath of the wreck involving Dan Runty and Bigfoot. A lot of cosmetic damage to that truck.
Yeah, the roll cage kept its integrity. The driver standing right there, all the safety equipment, the Simpson helmet and everything, did exactly what they were supposed to do. RJS and Simpson make good safety equipment. We're glad for that.
Of course, that was video that was shot just a few minutes ago as we come back to live action with Fred Schaefer and Pam Botters, the other semi. There's a look at Pam and the Boogie Band.
You got to remember, Fred Schaefer had lane choice here. The quick lane of the day has been a right lane, but there's just been a wreck in that lane. Schaefer has opted to go to the left lane. Reason being, he's afraid there could be something in that right lane that could cause a rut and flip him also.
And it's going to be Fred Schaefer. Now remember, Meagher ran a 492 in his semi, and there's a 506. So Meagher will have lane choice for the finals. We're coming right back to Canfield.
For those of you who like to take home a little grit in your teeth and mud in your hair after a day of motorsports, we have the tape for you. Look out, cover the furniture before popping this baby in the VCR. It's Shake, Battle, and Roll 4. The latest installment of this popular series from Diamond P Sports delivers all the hard knocks from the world of monster trucks and mud racing. And also features the heavy right-footed action of the tough truck competition where bravado wins out over common sense virtually every time. To get your copy of Shake, Battle, and Roll 4, call 1-800-952-7878 or send $19.95 plus shipping and handling to the address shown on your screen. Visa, Master, or Discover cards are accepted. That's 1-800-952-7878 for Shake, Battle, and Roll 4.
Well, they're still picking up the pieces of Bigfoot, but it's final time. Two guys looking for their first win prior to the finals. Army caught up with Fred Schaefer.
I've been out in front a lot of times. My truck's wheel stand, and we had a lot of trouble. We got so much power with this new Dodge Ram. we've been working on the clutch, the shocks, I mean, everything, trying to keep the front end down. Power's not the problem. It's keeping the front end down and going down the track. I think we're on it this weekend.
We shall find out as Fred Schaefer in the Dodge Barefoot staging against the Ford Stinger.
Standing on the sidelines in the white shirts, Dan Runte, looking at this final a lot different than the ones in the past.
Dodge against Ford. They're staged here in Canfield.
Both drivers in the lane they want to be in, Gary. Neither one of them trying to get into the lights real quick. Running alcohol for fuel, trying to build a little heat to make some horsepower. But remember, Schaefer said horsepower is not the problem.
Got him at the very end of the run. Schaefer had it the first half, but Meager got him at the end.
The way the chassis were set up, Schaefer went nose up over the finish line. Meager dove at the finish line. You can see it right here. It's all in the chassis of the trucks.
So
the
once
Dodge,
again, the nose up hurt Fred Schaefer.
Exactly. The Dodge, by virtue of being nose up, actually killed the forward motion. Now see the Ford, it'll dive nose down right towards the finish line.
And Eric Meager wins by that much here in Canfield as a happy Bigfoot crew. There's Dan Runte over there with the driving suit on and the white T-shirt. Out of competition after the grinding action. As we take a look now at the point standings, Runte still with the big lead, but Meager is starting to close in. He wins here this afternoon. Here's Eric.
Great job. Thanks, Kenny.
How about it, Powell? Great win.
Oh, love it, love it. Being first is nothing like being second. We were second too long. Our day was coming. Today's our day. WCW, DuPont Automotive Finishes, Mac Tools, Firestone, Ford, everybody. They're all happy, and so are we.
Trying to grab the microphone from you, Army. 4 days of constant battling in Canfield. There's your most recent winner as he walks over to sign some autographs.
What's your name? Did you have a good time today?
All right. Did you have a good time today? That kind of sums it up, doesn't it, Gary?
And of course, there's the remnants of Bigfoot after it was rolled over in the shutdown area by Dan Runte. So our congratulations to Bob Chandler, Marilyn Chandler, the Bigfoot organization, and of course to Eric Meager, who continues to close.